Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're wrapping up Kingdom. While the clan investigates Goliath and Elisa's disappearance, Fang has co-opted Claw and a few human thugs to help him take over the labyrinth below the city. The residents are vagrants who can't stop the uprising. While Talon could probably handle the other two mutates, this time is different. They have laser rifles. When they take Talon captive, it's up to the clan to intervene. Will Fang rise to power, or will he be broken? Confused? Read part 1 or listen to it. Finders keepers, losers weepers. Fang, Claw, and the human thugs, Chaz and Lou, have stumbled upon a cache of laser rifles. They get the guns and the case/pod they were in. At the Erie building, the clan and Talon are finished up with their violation of Xanatos' personal space and property. Of course, they come up with nada regarding Elisa and Goliath. Lex says there were only, quote, the usual shady deals. There's Lex occupying Xanatos' chair, while David stares him down. Lex thought he'd discomfit Xanatos by digging through the files, but apparently the whole time David has been breathing down Lex's neck. That's what happens when you try and out-annoy David Xanatos. Xanatos replies, a man has to make a living. Dang, he's got some zingers today. He thinks the clan's turmoil is hilarious. It's like when somebody who always crosses you finally gets a karmic slap in the face. But he maintains his dignity and doesn't mock them. Props for that. And there he's looking quite proud of himself and amused with his arms folded. Big grin on his face. The I told you so is strong in this one. Broadway reports that they, quote, looked everywhere, unquote, but didn't find anything. Wow, that was fast. They did this in one of the earlier episodes. Again, I am just always amazed at how quickly they can search an entire skyscraper. Many of the doors are probably locked anyway. And even then, what are you looking for? I can barely search my entire house for something I've lost in a day. Brooklyn doesn't find this shocking at all, considering Xanatos let them look. Brooklyn is clever. I really like Brooklyn as a character. Side note, the place looks pretty cleaned up already. Here is office, I'm talking. I mean, the new, quote, skylight is gone, and they're not climbing around rubble. And I believe they're still in his office, as far as I'm aware. I haven't rewatched the episode, but from the screenshots, it looks like they are. What I'd like to know is how Lex searched all the files for the entirety of a multinational, multi-billion-dollar company in only an hour or so. I lose stuff on my laptop and DVDs and my hard drives. So, and also, is that computer even going to have access to some of the off-site places? Or, again, if it's in cold storage, disconnected from the main network, you're not going to have access. Did he just do that search find feature like he did previously with Goliath? Well, wow, because nobody can figure out to use code words. Yeah, whatever. I'm willing to take a lot of inconsistencies here. Because, again, we're getting to see Xanatos and Owen. So that's always a great episode. Xanatos follows them outside and yells that he'll use his resources to find Goliath and Elisa. When they say, we don't want any help from you, he comes back with the legendary line, I wasn't aware I needed permission. And here's the epic expression for smug rebellion. According to Greg has since figured out, quote, a good flashback to be had someday in some medium, quote, on how Xanatos would have put the absence of the protag's leader to good use. Did this ever happen? I want it badly. Well, that's the last we see of Xanatos this episode. We can just wrap it up here. But I guess y'all want to hear about the rest of it, huh? Okay. And at the clock tower, Brooklyn has a minor meltdown over Hudson asking what they should do. And he turns to stone in mid-meltdown. Enemy at the gates. Talon returns to find Fang at the main gate. Fang is tired of taking orders. He's power-hungry, jealous, frustrated, and angry. Remember, he was a human who was recruited to help at a lab. If he was like Maggie, he was down on his luck. He might have been a criminal as a human. So this whole being a winged eelcat bat is new to him. While he claims he doesn't want to return to being a human, he obviously misses the human world. On top of this, he sees Talon take the one female of their, quote, race. Remember, these guys now have cat DNA, which would make the normal human male reaction toward women even stronger, and toward other males. You are not coming into this club wearing that. That's the expression it looks like between the Talon and Fang encountering each other. I really like their character design. And by the way, bats, their wings are actually their hands, if you look at the skeletons. So the wings being separate from their arms here doesn't really make any sense. That would be like growing 2 more arms. Which, okay, whatever, fine. They've got all these other changes. Talon tries to brush Claw off, but Fang off, but Chaz, Lou, and Claw stand behind the gate with laser rifles. They've taken Maggie hostage, locked her in the case that they got the rifles from, and Talon puts up a good fight, but it's no good in the end. They eventually capture him. It is a cool fight, though. There's like electricity involved. What is good, though, is Maggie talking Claw into letting her escape. Fang underestimates her, thinking she can't go anywhere since she's an eel cat bat. Ha, joke's on him. She puts on a cloak and sneaks into the clock tower. I mean, I don't know why she couldn't just fly there. It's pretty easy. When the clan wakes up, she fills them in. Follow the leader. Brooklyn now steps into his leadership role. They'll help Talon. All of them, even Hudson. Such a stirring scene. No, I mean, I really like Brookie. He did a good job here. I should mention that throughout, Hudson has been unhelpful. No, sure, he's nudging Brooke into leadership, but he's not being a mentor. He just asks, what should we do, when Brooke has an issue. And here's Fang. Fang is seeming to enjoy his time in charge. Cue grand fight when they get into the tent city in the labyrinth. They pretty much fight to a standstill. Then Brooklyn calls for a halt. He's leaving and taking Maggie with him. Talon can stay here for all he cares. If Fang wants to lead the bums, fine. And by lead, I mean oppress. A tent city. Oh, just like in Portland. Oh, and San Francisco. I can almost smell the, you-know-what. Maggie is taken aback until Brooklyn hands her the key to Talon's cage. She releases him secretly. Talon explodes from the cage and tackles Fang. Fang appeals to Claw, telling him not to be weak like the rest of the people. Claw looks like he's going to help, and then he smashes the laser rifle. You didn't have to break it, you moron. And then they slap Fang in the little coffin-sized pod. Talon realizes he is the leader and must act like it. Promising to protect the people here, he shakes hands with Brooklyn, who also accepted the mantle of leader. Lands united. I love Brooke's line. This has nothing to do with what I want. He's talking about leadership. This is a great observation. Leadership isn't about taking power and making your life better. It's about doing what's best for your people. Side note, Talon makes the labyrinth a weapon-free zone. Okay, for one thing, most street people do carry weapons because they need them to defend their lives. Doesn't he know that all but one or two of the mass shootings that have happened occurred in gun-free zones? All this will do is prevent the good people from having weapons to protect themselves from the criminals. If a person is going to commit assault with a deadly weapon, they're not going to stop just because the sign says no weapons. I mean, it was already kind of a rule about, don't kidnap Maggie and overthrow Talon and everything. So I don't know what the whole making rules thing about weapons has to do with sanity and reality. Final thoughts. Fang is turning into an interesting character. He started out as just another member of the Mutates, one who was snarky but didn't have much personality otherwise. We knew he rather liked being a mutate after it grew on him, but other than that, he was just a sidekick for Talon. His character arc here makes perfect sense. He's trying to find his place in the new world. It's not like he can Google or WikiHow on adjusting to being a mutate. Plus, I think he wasn't exactly an upstanding citizen, unlike Talon or even Maggie. He seems like a biker type. At any rate, I get the feeling he made a good use of his intimidation ability even as a human. He's smart, but not smart like Thalug or Demona. He's street smart. It seems like he's following a course that he either already fought as a human or had experience with. He doesn't have any qualms about it, that's for sure. His pride is growing too. He's a powerful creature that can take on humans easily. That means the social norms and rules don't apply, in his view. The fact that he dumps them makes me think he only followed them before because he had no choice. He doesn't see the point of them. Now he has freedom, or so he thinks. In my opinion, he'd be a good candidate for Xanatos to recruit. Again, get Fang over the sticking point regarding Xanatos. Severius turning him into an eel cat bat, and you're golden. Next week, we look at monsters. And by the way, Wolf didn't seem to have any qualms about turning himself into a wolf man. But, I mean, maybe you could say he's got that hirsutism thing where they grow fur all over their face. But it's a pretty tough sell. The Gargoyles meet Nessie next time. Yeah, they really do, I promise. This episode proves the line from American Horror Story. All monsters are human. So, what'd you think about this? Were you glad to be back in New York a little bit? What kind of things do you think Xanatos did while Goliath and Elisa and Bronx were out of town? You can comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.